So many of you will be noticing perhaps more tension, more contrast, more difficulty, more pressure. This is very important to witness, to notice how the ego wants to attach to the pressure, the tension, the pain, the discomfort. The ego wants to attach because when you allow your ego to attach, it can create a label from it. It can find its identity in it. It can feel safer in the box that your ego has always functioned from. And so the first thing to be aware of is the ways in which your ego is working really hard to attach right now to the hard pieces that are showing up. Because if you deepen into full trust and surrender, what happens then? What happens to the ego? There has to be fragments that fall away. That is what the ego is afraid of. The ego is afraid of dying in these moments where you're having these challenges and it feels so much. The ego is afraid that if you deepen into trust and surrender, it will die. But that's not actually the truth, because your ego plays such an important part in this experience. It allows you to have this experience. The ego allows you to have a separatism in the experience that you're having. And so it is important. It makes you, you. There is an identity piece here, but it is about not attaching to that identity. There can still be a part of you that is you with your name and your job and the roles that you play in your life. But can you notice the ways in which the ego wants you to get lost in that? And can you become aware and be the observer of those identities without attaching to them? Because when we attach and we get lost in the identity of whatever that piece is, the role that you play in your life or the pain or the experience, when we get lost in it, we no longer are able to flow through it. This is where we get blocked. This is where we get stuck. This is where we experience that suffering that doesn't feel like it's ever stopping. And so this is really important. Can you be the observer of the attachment that wants to occur? Because that attachment to that thing, especially if it's something you're trying to let go of, an old pattern, an old belief, an old behavior that no longer aligns with who you are, your ego is going to try to stay attached to that because that's how it knows itself. That is the identity that you've always had. But the more that you are able to be the observer and to allow things to flow, to deepen into that trust, the greater the smoothness you are going to experience in all of this. And reminding yourself that you are not losing who you are in that process. You are deepening into who you truly are. That's an important piece to work with your ego. Is helping it see that you're not trying to kill it off. You're not expecting it to die, because if your ego died, you wouldn't actually be able to have this contrasting experience of the challenges and the beauty, all of it. The ego allows you to have that. And so working with your ego, when that is showing up, when the attachment is showing up, when the attachment to identity wants to occur, and reminding your ego that you're not expecting it to die, but can we deepen into a bit more trust here so that we don't have to suffer in the identity? The other piece I really want you to understand here is your connection with your body is so crucial in this. Because your body holds all, because your body is this beautiful channel, it's a funnel that you receive through, you process through, you release through, right? Receive, process, release. But again, when that ego is at its height of attachment, you are not processing and releasing. You are receiving and holding on tight. That's where we get blocked. That's where we get stuck. And so really working with your body to make sure that whatever you are receiving, you are processing and releasing. This is how you continue to have a clear channel. And there are so many ways that you can do this with your body. Movement. Movement is so crucial. It physically moves the energy that feels stuck inside of you. Water. Water can be your best friend through all of this, whether you are drinking water, whether you are receiving water, whether you are in water. Water naturally has flow to it. It is the element of flow. And so when you feel stuck, turn to water. Music. Music also has so much flow to it. Whether we are listening to it, whether we are playing it, whether we are creating it, whether we are receiving it. So really thinking about the elements in your life that allow you to find flow. Embodying this receiving, processing, releasing piece in whatever it is that you are doing in your day-to-day allows you to naturally, physically, in the body, experience that flow. And the last piece here is that it is important to be thinking about how you want December to feel. The really hard pieces have surfaced for so many of you. And so really taking a look at how am I in relation to these hard pieces? Am I creating space to allow myself to process and release each day? Am I resisting? Am I fighting? The hard pieces that have showed up for you, are you working with them or working against them? December has the opportunity to be a quieter month for the soul. But it depends on how you are working with the pieces that are showing up. And if you allow those pieces to come into your experience, to feel into them, to move through the brevity, the intensity of those experiences through your body, and you're finding ways to release, December will be a quieter month for your soul, a darker month. Darker doesn't have to be bad. Dark can represent quiet introspection. So notice how you relate to all these pieces. You have the power to move through your experience in exactly the way you want to. Notice the choice.